No, this is not clickbait. We actually get a decisive winner at the very end of this chapter. And I mean, it's just as epic and incredible as you would imagine. And just everything that happens in this chapter is absolutely peak JJK. So I don't want to waste time, let's just get right into it. The chapter begins with Gojo completely regrowing his right arm, as Agito gets totally crushed in the background. The narrator explains that Gojo's intensity has raised due to the 2 black flashes, and the king of curses Ryumen Sukuna is nervous for the first time in 1,000 years, or thousands of years, whatever. The whole point is that for the first time in this entire fight, Sukuna is getting the same feeling that Gojo is getting like 1 or 2 chapters back when he actually considered the possibility of defeat. But this time it seems like Sukuna is seriously considering the fact that things are really about to go wrong for him. And I mean, we're about to see in a second if that ends up being the case. So it's awesome that it's also getting pointed out that 2 black flashes have already been thrown by Gojo, and as you guys can see by the look on his face on this panel, this guy is definitely in the zone. Like, he's in his element right now. Probably a major reason why Sukuna is freaking out internally at the moment. Gojo hits a 3rd black flash on Maharaga, then reappears in front of Sukuna, who looks hella nervous. Sukuna tries to punch, but Gojo blocks it and throws him towards Maharaga and hits a 4th black flash. Then we see Maharaga trying to block the black flash from hitting Sukuna by kind of wrapping his arms around him, and he ends up tanking the blow, but he also gets knocked way back through a building. So it looks like Gojo's going for the record here for the most consecutive black flashes. I mean, he just needs 1 more to tie it, right? And although the black flashes aren't connecting with Sukuna right now, you guys are going to see in a bit exactly why the black flashes matter so much. Gojo is just getting further and further in the zone right now, and you know that he's about to pull off something huge. Gojo then begins the chant for his next attack. Sukuna judges that it might be a curse technique reversal red, and plans to have Maharaga tank it and make it adapt to red, just to be sure. But instead of firing it at Maharaga, Gojo shoots red upwards. Sensing that something's wrong, Sukuna screams for Maharaga to act quickly. Maharaga chases after red, but ahead of it, the blue that crushed Agito is still left. Maharaga is ordered not to let red clash with blue and demolish blue with its adaptation. So I think you guys can see exactly where this is going. Sukuna originally thought that Gojo was chanting to juice up his red attack in an attempt to take Maharaga out in a single hit, but really he's shooting it upwards and aiming it directly at the blue that destroyed Agito in the previous chapter. I mean, I never considered the fact that that blue was still hanging around, but apparently it was all part of the plan. Just before Maharaga tries to destroy blue, Gojo appears between Maharaga and the blue and punches him. Sukuna then tries to destroy the red with the piercing blood, or likely the piercing water attack that he got from Max Elephant, so this way he can ensure that it doesn't collide with blue and create a purple. Gojo then hits Sukuna, but he tells Gojo that he's late because piercing blood was already launched. Gojo does not seem worried at all though, because he begins a chant that's supposed to enhance blue in a short period of time. Due to this, Sukuna's attack doesn't affect blue at all. Gojo begins the chant for hollow purple, and we see Yuta back at the base, apologizing to Kusakabe that if a hindrance like him was on the battlefield, then Gojo wouldn't be able to pull this off. And then blue and red merge as Gojo says hollow technique purple. Gojo blasts everyone, including himself, with hollow purple. And if you look closely in the 2 bottom panels, we can see that Maharaga's wheel gets completely destroyed. So this is absolutely incredible on the page. I cannot wait till we get high quality images of this double spread. I mean, Gojo just straight up nukes himself along with Sukuna and Maharaga, and apparently successfully takes Maharaga out here. But that is not the only extent of the damages we're about to see. It also kind of gets me wondering if Yuta was already aware that Gojo could do a move like this, like merging a blue and a red away from his body to create this nuke or something, because he seems so sure that this incredible destructive force is about to happen, almost like he's seen it or something, or was told about it by Gojo. But I mean, he is right. If he interfered, then Gojo would not have been able to do this, and he only would have gotten in the way. It's crazy to think that Yuta, a special grade sorcerer, probably one of the strongest characters in the entire series, was still technically weaker than a Gojo with 1 arm arm and completely exhausted from the fight. That just goes to show how miles ahead of everybody else that Gojo and Sukuna really are. So we see the aftermath of the blast. A huge part of the city is destroyed and Sukuna is ragged and torn apart. He's even missing his left hand. And just look at this panel of Sukuna, guys. I mean, come on, that dude is down bad. This is easily the most damage he's ever been in this entire fight, and he looks absolutely exhausted. And you're probably wondering, well, what happened to Gojo? Did he like sacrifice himself or something? Was that the last time we're ever gonna see Gojo? Well, nah, that's not the case, because Gojo is still alive and well. It turns out that the purple hit him too, but since it's made up of his own cursed energy, it didn't affect him as much as it affected Sukuna. Kusakabe points out that Sukuna, now without Maharaga and his slow healing, won't be able to use domain amplification. And on top of that, all the stacked black flashes that Gojo's been throwing has returned his reverse curse technique to regular speed. And as we can see, Gojo did have the left side of his face kind of messed up, but at the very bottom of the page, it's already completely healed almost. So combining that with the fact that Sukuna now can't use domain amplification to stop Limitless, as it says right here, Gojo wins the battle of the strongest. There you go, guys. Don't hate me in the comments below. I'm just delivering the message that I'm seeing here. Gojo has been declared officially the winner of this fight, and for good reason. I mean, Sukuna does not look like he can do anything else right now. I mean, obviously he still has some tricks up his sleeve that we haven't seen yet, so I don't think he's going to die in the next chapter. I don't know if Kenjaku's going to come in and save him, or he's going to have some kind of means of escape or something. Sukuna's not done for, but this fight is apparently over with Gojo being the winner. On a side note though, I still wonder if Maharaga being destroyed by purple here means that Maharaga's now joined the totality that all the other Shikigami have, or at least the majority of the other Shikigami have. Like, can Maharaga now be used to fuse with other Shikigami and make them even stronger, or even fuse with Sukuna himself to make him stronger? That's still yet to be seen. I think that's possible, but seeing as how we have a winner here kind of declared already, it's going to be interesting to see how it comes up if it does. Best case scenario, maybe Sukuna ditches the body that he's in right now because it's so heavily damaged from the entire fight. So then once Megumi gets his body back, then he'd be able to use the full effect of totality and combine all those Shikigami along with Maharaga to create something ultra powerful in order to combat Sukuna in a new form or something, or fight against Kenjaku or whatever else is coming next. I don't know how I never considered the fact that he can collide a blue and a red externally versus just like mixing it up himself and then launching the purple. So bravo to Gege for introducing this awesome new way that he can use purple by essentially detonating it like a nuke or something away from his body. I thought that was pretty awesome. I know that using Black Flash, and especially using it consecutively like Gojo has, implies that the sorcerer is in the zone at that moment and at the peak of their abilities, but I never really considered the fact that it would also buff abilities like reverse curse technique, which of course allowed Gojo at the very end of this fight to kind of have that decisive nail in the coffin, since he can heal so rapidly again and Sukuna obviously can't. It also makes me wonder why Sukuna didn't attempt to use a Black Flash at all during the entire fight. I mean, he has been built up to be this like genius that can copy any technique just by seeing it once, so it does kind of leave me scratching my head a little bit as to why he didn't do it himself. I mean, maybe that just goes to show exactly how difficult a Black Flash really is to pull off and how much in the zone you really have to be for it to actually work. But I don't know, I thought that was an interesting detail. We do have a break next week, so we won't be getting any leaks for another 2 weeks, but for now, let me know what you thought about this chapter in the comments below. I absolutely loved it. That is it for this one though. Have an absolutely wonderful night, morning, whatever, and I'll see you guys in the next one.